So as we mentioned, £2 to park all day in Tavistock in Oakhampton. This trial brought in by West Devon Borough Council, and a vote will be taken to see if this will be made a permanent fixture. Let's hear from Piers O'Neill. Piers is a trader in Tavistock, running the Payless discount store on the High Street. Good afternoon to you, Piers.
Good afternoon to you, Gordon.
Have you had an increase in business since the prices of parking have been reduced?
I would say that footfall, from our perspective on the high street, has seen a slight increase, which is obviously a positive thing, because obviously the high streets are still facing very challenging circumstances. But more importantly than that, I think is the feedback that we hear as shopkeepers in this beautiful town from our customers, and both our normal sort of everyday local customers as well as visitors to the town. I've not heard one single negative about the £2 parking. In fact, all the feedback has been tremendously positive from the sort of the people who sort of come to Tavistock for the day now stay for the day, rather than just sort of having a couple of hours parking and then beating a hasty retreat before the super efficient parking attendants catch them. They've all, I think, greatly positive from that, and now make a day out when they come to Tavistock.
I remember, Piers, a time ago when your fellow traders and some members of the public as well were up in arms when the planning went through for out-of-town shopping centres, supermarkets on the very edge of Tavistock, and that was a blow to many traders, wasn't it, at the time?
I think it was, and it's, it caused a lot of worry and angst amongst a number of traders, because obviously any out-of-town operations will purely serve to just draw people away from, the varied independent stores on the high street itself. But that said, the new supermarket opened a little while back. Now, I have to say, from my perspective as a trader, it's not made one jot of difference to my takings, having another supermarket in the town. So, from my point of view, it's not too bad. But I can understand how many traders would and probably still do have a lot of concerns around the growth of out of town, and certainly wouldn't want to see it grow any further.
Like many towns around our wonderful county, Piers, the town of Tavistock has many independent traders, so shops that we don't necessarily see in other towns. And it's nice to have that luxury, that time, to be able to look in the shop window, to go into the shop and meet the shopkeepers, see the different things on offer without thinking, oh, I've only got 20 minutes, I've got to be back at the car.
Absolutely, yes, indeed, and that's one of the joys of sort of operating a shop in a town like Tavistock, is that we get to meet some amazing customers. I was just talking to two customers this morning who sort of come down to visit some friends in Plymouth. They come down from Somerset, and they decided, because the sun was out, they'd come out to Tavistock, and they were only planning to come for a coffee and a quick walk around, but they've opted to stay all day, which is quite apt for me being able to come on and speak to you this afternoon to relay that, because of this parking, and
Yeah.
it has to be a great thing.
Do you know if in advance they knew it was £2 to park all day, or was that a pleasant surprise when they arrived?
It was a pleasant surprise when they arrived. So they're now staying for lunch. So I know that a cafe over the road now has got two extra customers for lunch that they perhaps would not have had, and they may have only just got a coffee out of them.
There we go, a good example. But when you look at, let's take Exeter as an example, roughly £10 to park all day. Salcombe, £6.50 to park all day. Are those charges ever justified, do you think?
I don't think so at all. I mean, I think, as I say, we're all traders who work in a very, very difficult economic climate, and the councils, I mean, West Devon, I think, being proactive and agreeing to the trial, and I think that's a real positive. But I cannot see how you can justify these massive expenses, because it's just purely driving people to spend their money online and not bother visiting city centres. In an ideal world, all the parking should be free, and then I think you would soon see the revival of a lot of high streets and a lot of towns if that were the case. But for the minute, I think £2 for all day is a very fair and justifiable cost for people to come and have a day out in a beautiful and idyllic place.
Well, as we heard from the council, the voting process begins today at West Devon Borough Council to see if this becomes a permanent fixture. Piers, you better get back to your customers.
I better indeed, Gordon, better indeed.
We appreciate your time. Thank you, Piers.
Thank you very much.
Piers
Cheerio.
O'Neill, trader in Tavistock. He runs the Payless discount store in the town centre in Tavistock. He's a happy man, isn't he? And are you, when you go shopping, do you wish your town, your city...